second.
Okay.
Yep, that worked.
Y'all ready? No holds barred now.
We live.
Live. Yep.
Live on Facebook. Oh, so right.
Got it.
Here we on.
We lost somebody.
Oh,
We
no.
we
They
added
just
to our
their
timeline.
screens. Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
All right. Everybody good?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. For all our viewers, this is the ManUp Series. Thanks for watching in. Thanks for tuning in with us every week. Thanks for the support. We truly appreciate it. People, we had to get our couples on, get everybody, because my wife been like bugging me, like, oh, when I'm gonna be on the show. So we got the wives on the show for this week. All right.
Like that.
This is gonna be an interesting, discussion we're gonna have. They know us, they know the ins and out of us, so it's gonna be interesting. All right.
Don't let them embarrass us, right?
Yeah.
Go down.
Like give us a look.
Right. So now let's I'm gonna start with Tavia first as I'm opening up. Give us the background of your professional background.
So hi guys. So I am a clinical nurse specialist by trade. I have a bachelor's and 2 master's degrees. And I thought that, I don't know, like I just kept going and going and going to school. And no, it wasn't everything for me, but I knew that, in order to make more money, I had to get more degrees under my belt. So I loved what I did. And now I'm a mom of 3 and wife, and now a business owner too. So something of everything, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And we're also married too, just to let everybody know.
Yeah.
We're married with 3 kids.
Yeah, married with 3 kids.
3 beautiful boys that keep us busy all the time.
Almost 10 years.
Yes. We'll be married. This year be 9 years.
Yeah.
9 years. So
9 years.
9
Yes.
years, definitely. So let's go on to the Mitchells.
Who's next? You want Gilda?
Yeah, Gilda, give us your background and basically, your profession and how you got to this point in life.
Well, my name is Gilda, and I am the wife of this handsome man sitting next to me. We've been married for almost 17 years next month. Yes, 17 years under our belt. We have 2 amazing boys. Also, too, we joined this business as a couple. But aside from that, before I get to that, I am in the government profession. So I'm a director of membership and outreach for a government agency in the Northwest Ohio area. We joined this amazing business because we are looking for additional income for our household. So we met the amazing Fosters the 1st of January of this year. And this business has been amazing for us. It's been a blessing for us. And we got a chance to meet all these lovely couples on here as well. So this business for us has been great. I highly recommend, I'm always saying highly recommend that you be a part of this business because you see all these superstars on here, all these rock stars. So that's just a little bit about me and who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Chris Mitchell. I am the husband of this beautiful Nubian queen. To my right, your left. Married, as she said, 17 years of bliss. From our union, we have 2 beautiful kids, Christopher Isaiah and Cameron Lee. And so Christopher has my first name, Cameron has my middle name. So collectively, they're my namesake. If some of you might never knew that, but there's no favoritism here. So I always say we are my namesake. My background's been higher education administration. Before coming to higher ed, I was in nonprofit. And so it's been over, I think 13 years I've been in higher ed, from the area of development, area of teaching, recruiting, retention. And so I really enjoyed that. But like my wife said, we joined this amazing, remarkable business to have multiple streams of income to assist as we want to leverage some things around the house and to make sure that we do this together. and my advice is if you ever want to start a business, make sure you start it with the person next to you first. And so that's what it's about.
Love it.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Crawford, give us your background.
Hey everybody, I am Tashima Crawford and I am married to my high school sweetheart. We have been together for 24 years and we just made year 20 for our marriage this year. So we have been together for a very long time. We are the proud parents of two beautiful girls. One just turned 14 and one will be 17, September. So two beautiful girls in high school. We have a freshman and a senior this year. So the stress level has been from here to here. So I just actually left the financial industry of banking for over 20 years, just last week. And I am actually getting ready to start school next month to pursue a bachelor's in applied science for education counseling. So I found this business about 2.5 years ago, and shortly after, my wonderful husband joined with me. So it has been amazing. We just kind of did it for a little extra cash, and we've gained that relationship and also, you know, some financial stability for us. So and we were able to meet all of you guys, and so we are very excited and just excited to see what's coming in the future. So.
Well, it's my turn. Hello, guys. My name is Benny Crawford. I am the husband of this beautiful thing. She's right. We have been together since high school. I was 16 when I met her. She still puts up with me, which is kind of amazing. I was in the military for 20 years. Last week, my first show, I'll let you guys know I was in the military for 20 years. I've been doing pharmacy for 20 years. And when I retired from the military, I decided to be a teacher at a college. I'm the program director at a college for pharmacy.
Awesome.
All right, Ned, give us your background.
Hello, I am Shabri Ned. I am married to Clarence Ned over here. We have 4 beautiful children, a 15-year-old, a 7-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 3-year-old. So I have 3 entering school, well, 3 all going to school. I have a freshman, a first grader, and a kindergartner, and 1 that's in preschool. So as you can tell, we are very busy over here. I have a background. I have my bachelor's in education, and I have my certificate as a phlebotomist. So I drew blood, but I stepped out of that and went back into the education field. We found this business last year in April. I forced him to sign up first. And then I signed up in June. So we actually got into this business to make this our soon to be number 1 income, but it is going to be a part of our multiple streams of income. And that's pretty much about it. We've been married for 7 years. It'll be 8 years in September.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, my name is Clarence Ned. This is my wife, Shabri. Just like she said, she gave you the rundown. we have an interesting family right now. I have an education in business, and I'm still working on getting my bachelor's. Also, I'm into ministry. What a lot of people wouldn't know, I'm into ministry, and we're both into ministry, and we believe in Christ. And we joined this business not really knowing what to expect. But so far, God has been allowing us to meet great people like you guys, and we're just expecting to see what is to come from this business. So,
Definitely. So, Langford, give us your background.
Hi, everybody. I am Yatika Langford, and let's see. My background is actually in engineering, which I don't know if a lot of people know, but I actually have a master's degree and bachelor's degree in engineering. Left that field about 11 years ago, actually, and kind of stayed home for a little bit with the kids. Since then, I am now at Owens Community College working part-time, doing some IT stuff for their adult ed programs and English as a second language programs. So I work part-time from home. And we have 3 kids. So we have a 5-year-old, an 11-year-old, and a 15-year-old. So we are also very, very busy. We've been married 19 years, almost 20. And yeah, and we joined this business in January, and it's been amazing. I mean, ever since. We love the fellowship, we love the learning. The products are amazing. So that's our story. Rob?
All right, I'm Rob. For those that haven't tuned in over the past month or so. Again, been married to this beautiful lady here for almost 20 years, since college.
Mhm.
We met in college, so been through thick and thin. My background, I am an engineer. Got my bachelor's in mechanical engineering, and then got my MBA in leadership from Tiffin University. So been around a little while, you know, coaching and helping others develop. So that's my passion. I also like to draw, for those that don't know. Have that skill as well. And I love music. Used to be a DJ. So yeah, I did. Yeah, yes. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Didn't know that.
My DJ name is Black Rob, DJ Black Rob.
DJ
I
Black
knew
Rob.
that.
DJ Black Rob on the ones and twos.
All right, so yeah, we joined the business early this year, and it's really helped us financially. It's been supplemental to our incomes. Again, as Shabri said, it's one of our multiple streams of income, and we all gotta have it. So you know, that's why we on here. So that's all I got, Brandon. I think we need to go ahead and get this thing rolling.
I say let's just get this thing rolling. I say let's do it.
I think we need to go ahead and put some things to rest. No,
Definitely.
I love the reactions. I love the reactions. That's what I want. That's exactly what I wanted. That's exactly.
Let's go into the first topic because
we're freezing up. I think we have to go.
All right, well, let's go into the first topic because we all have powerful women that are by our sides, which can be very intimidating to a lot of people. And a lot of people don't know how to, you know, sometimes they get intimidated when, you know, they got their wife that maybe make more money than they make. They're doing power moves more than what we're doing. So I'm gonna start with you, Clarence. How do you feel about actually being with a powerful wife, and you know, how are y'all doing it?
Well, I would say I have my days where, you know, sometimes I might feel like I'm not doing as much as I should be doing. And I struggle with it, you know, and then she'd be like, oh, it's okay. But in my mind, right, I'm like, I should be making this amount of money. But it's not my reality, you know, it's not my reality. So there are days when I am frustrated because my wife is very strong. When I first met her, she was very strong. I had to make her rest. Like, you need to take a break. You're going to kill yourself. You know what I'm saying? Why don't you take a nap over there? And so now, you know, I'm telling you, she used to work so hard.
Not a nap.
She used to have like 5 jobs like a Jamaican. Like, literally, I had to make her stop. Like, what are you doing? You're going to hurt yourself, right? And so imagine now, you know, we have kids, and there are days when I'm like, I'm ready to go. And she like, dude, what you doing? You know, so having a powerhouse, right? There are days when my confidence level shifts up and down. So I struggle with that on a regular basis, you know, so that's what you think. Nothing? Okay. But yeah, that's
Shabri, you call him a lazy bum. What's wrong
No,
with
Not a lazy bum.
I got 3 jobs, man.
See, no one understands. Listen, I was a college student. I had a kid. I had 2 bartending jobs, a regular job, and then another side job. It was
Girl.
Hey, I was trying to get my money. I had to get it any way I could.
Wow.
That's awesome, though.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
That's what they do.
Chris
That's
gonna
what
be
they
laughing
do.
all night.
That is a beautiful thing.
I'm Jamaican. I got 5 jobs.
All right, Chris, you next.
Okay, man.
Do we need to put out a disclaimer? Because I'm seeing some backhands getting ready.
Hey, so no, it's I feed off of her energy. I truly, we are an amazing team. When we first got married, before we even got married, I gave her something. We had a conversation. I said, "Are you ready to ride or die with me?" And that's in the happy and the sad times, the ups and the downs. And the beautiful thing about my wife is that she pushes me, I push her. When I'm up, she's down, or when I'm down, she's up, or we're both up together. One thing you will never catch is us both down at the same time. And I think that's what makes a great team. Honestly, it's the 17 years. We've been together 21 years, but married 17. She's even right now, she's pushing me to go get my doctorate degree right now. I pushed her to get her master's degree. I worked at the University of Findlay, and I remember I told her, I said, hey, listen, this is the perfect time to get your master's. And when she got her degree, I said, honey, how does it feel to have no balance? It's free. And she just sat there crying. And so I tell everybody when I play around, I say, yeah, she's Oprah, I'm Stedman. And I'm okay being Stedman. And when I say Stedman, I'm okay if she makes all the money and I pack the lunches and iron the clothes and take care of the dog and the children and washing the cars, or vice versa. And I think that's what an amazing team is. So when she gets a promotion, no, we get a promotion. When I get a promotion, I get a doctorate degree, you get a doctorate degree. And so I say, honey, between both of us, we're gonna have 5, almost 6 degrees when it's all said and done. And so we feed off of each other. And so if you're ever as a man, this is just me personally, if you're ever as a man, ever intimidated by your wife, sometimes you gotta check your self-esteem. Because the woman that you married, you didn't marry her for her money. She didn't marry you for your money. She married you for the love. And so my wife told me the other day, if we lost this house that we just built, and we've been here 3 years, if we lost the house, as long as we have each other, as long as we have these babies and we have our health and our strength. I don't mean to be preaching to you. You know, Clarence, you always starting this whole church thing. You better leave me alone, Clarence. You know we and look, when we done, we bring out the collection plates. Stop playing, Clarence. All jokes aside, we want to make sure that we push each other. And but like I like what Clarence said about his wife. Don't let her stress herself out, or don't let him stress himself out or burn themselves out, because they ain't gonna be no good to nobody. So even though they want to be a man and they want to be a woman, they want to support and they want to pull their weight, there's a breaking point. So be very, very conscious of that, aware of that.
Definitely. All right, Crawfords, Benny.
Well, you kind of heard our story already. We were together very young. I was 16 when I met this young lady. So when we got married, I was 20 years old, and we were broke together, right? So you develop a closeness when you're broke together, because it's not my money or his money or anything. We was broke together, all right? So, as we both started progressing, I was doing well, she was doing well on her job. I never had any issues with her. As a matter of fact, I joke with her all the time that I want to be a kept husband one, all right? Yes, you see, I'm like Chris. I want to be a kept husband one day. I'm totally okay with you making buku money, right? But her success is my success. If I can uplift her to be, great or even better than me, I did a good job as a husband, supporting her, right? And she feels the same way. And everything that I do, she supports everything that I do. You got to work as a team. As a matter of fact, we call ourselves Team Crawford, and we play around with our own little break with me, her, and the kids, and we always root for Team Crawford.
Love it.
Awesome. All right, awesome. All right, Rob, your turn. What's your perspective?
So I'm gonna come from a little different angle. So, and this is well, I know fellas deal with this, right? So when we got married, we were younger, fresh out of college, but 24. So really hadn't you know, only time I lived in an apartment by myself was in college. It wasn't outside of college. So we were together, you know, growing pains together. We both came out, we had our engineering jobs, and all of a sudden I wasn't working anymore, you know. Wasn't happy at the place I was at. And she was the breadwinner. And let me tell you, the mental anguish and stress, responsibility that I felt I needed to be the breadwinner, it wore on me to the point where I was so depressed. And I think that was mainly just from that's how we were brought up. You know, a lot of our household, we're supposed to take care of everything, you know, and you know, everything falls on us. In a sense, it does, but what we learned over time, and now it's the opposite, right? Now it's the opposite. But as we learned over time, you know, and you all have hit on it, you know, we're in this together. You know, when I win, she wins. When she wins, I win. And so the biggest part for me was just fighting through that stress, because even at the time, you know, it was, you know, well, I mean, and we all get to that point, you know, she's like, well, what are you doing? You know, go get a job, you know, you do something. I'm trying. But at the same time, it becomes a maturity in your relationship, because you all learn, if you stick together through that, on the other side, there's so many blessings and so many things that are in store for you. And that's within life, period, right? I mean, if we even in this business, even in our jobs, a lot of times we got to stick through those hard times. And on the other side of it, you've learned, you've matured, you've grown, but you're reaping a blessing, reaping a harvest. So, you know, I just wanted to I wanted to talk about it from that angle, because I know, especially as men, I know I dealt with it. I won't put that on anybody else. I know I dealt with that. Just the whole, you know, feeling like I wasn't living up to my responsibility, and the depression that came with that was something that was devastating to me. I had already dealt with depression, just seasonal depression, while I was in school. So even going through that period, I mean, it was rough for me. And just feeling like I wasn't adequate. But you know, through prayer, continuing to stay steadfast and continue to pursue my goals, and continue to stay in there, hang in there, even if it's on the last string. You know, we made it. We're on the other side, looking back, laughing at it. So that's where I'm at with it, man. I love I love what we've gone through, because it's only made us stronger, and it teaches me that, you know, really the money don't matter. It's not the money, you know, it's the mindset. So
True.
And you definitely right on that, because, you know, just like me and Tavia, we were together in college. We really got together like my last semester at school, and we were young. I was 21, she was 19, and we had to grow together too. You know, we didn't know a lot of things. You know, I didn't come up from my parents were, they split up when I was like in the second grade. So the whole idea of like relationship was like it was a constant. I learned something new every day. You know, every day was, you know, it was because it ain't no blueprint to being in a relationship. There's no instruction manual or none of that. So we got together. She eventually, when I graduated school, she moved here with me, and that was a transition, because, like I said, this is new territory for me. I'm with somebody on a daily basis now. You know what I'm saying? Every day, you know. So, and you know, like Rob said, we grew together and we got stronger together. You know, and we've both made mistakes. We've both had a lot of success, but no matter what, we both knew at the end of the day, we wanted each other and we loved each other, and this bond wasn't going to be broken, period. So, you know, And being that said, she's a very powerful woman. All right. She has not stopped. It was a point in time where, you know, I was a breadwinner for a minute, but she didn't, she kept going and going and going. And, you know, now she's the, you know, she's very influential. A lot of people look up to her, but I use it as motivation. You know, it was a point in time where, you know, when we first got into business, I didn't take it serious, but once I got to actually seeing her and seeing her progression and how better she's gotten, I'm like, you know what, it's time for me to go ahead and really take self-development serious, because that's something I never done, even in college. You know, I got through my schooling, and I did what I did, you know, but actually developing myself, she was the main reason and motivation for me to get myself better. So I'm gonna actually say she's made me a better person. So yeah, I'm gonna say that. Now let's talk about let's get into, I want to talk to the ladies now. Let me talk to the ladies, all right? And y'all be real, all right? I'm gonna start with you, Tavia, because we've been together for a long time. What are some of your big pet peeves when it comes to me?
Oh Lord.
Yeah. Let's get into it.
I don't know. What time is it? No, are we talking like what's
Stuff
what
you just
aspect?
can't stand, what you
Just
can't
let it go.
stand.
Just let it go. Just
Let it go.
Snoring. Can't
Ooh.
stand
Oh, hallelujah.
it. Breathing super heavy. Like, where did you just run? Where did
The brother's tired. He tired.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Just don't dig too deep. Yeah.
But you told her to be real though, man. You can't tell her to be real.
Okay, the look. You know how us women, we have that look like, hey, can someone go get that trash can? Yeah, okay, sure. 3 minutes later. Did you forget what I just said? That, right? And I'm over here like, yeah, and he's like, yeah, I got it. Or whenever he says my name, like Tavia, ooh. It's like, oh, I'm in trouble. What is going on? What are we doing? Why you gotta say my name like that? I would say those are the biggest things. But listen, I believe firmly in the 80-20 rule. I think that you love 80% of someone, and the other 20% you have to learn how to swallow. And I'm talking, look, we have some couples that have been on here married almost 20 years. Y'all need to be giving us advice, and I think, I don't know, pick and choose your battles. I mean, what is it? What is the best advice? Anyway, I'm asking a different question, but we'll go with the pet peeves.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, real quick, and I know this is why I do it. Real talk.
Uh-oh.
Real talk.
Real talk.
Down deep, when you all tell us to do something, we want it to be on our time.
Hey,
Not because you told us to do it.
At the end of the day, but I don't say nothing, no. I don't say nothing.
That's just a little advice.
It's gonna get done at the end of the day. It's gonna get done.
It's gonna get done.
It's gonna get done.
Oh.
It might not be in that hour though. It's gonna get
Don't
done.
ask us during the day.
Oh,
Don't
I need
ask
it
us
done
during the
now
day.
when I said it. Now.
That's
Right.
Because
then I'll do it. I'll just do it myself. I'll be like, well, fine, screw it. I'll just do it myself.
See, it ain't even gotta go.
And then in the back of my head, just so you know, I do have an attitude. And at some point, we're going to discuss this, but not right now because I'm in my feelings, because that's how it goes.
David, the problem is sometimes y'all be asking us to do, like, could you wash dishes right now? I'm like, but Ohio State playing Michigan right now. Could you go ahead and wash dishes right now? Right now. Yeah, could you wash dishes? I'm like, well, what? Do they got to get washed right now? The game is on.
I think y'all do that on purpose.
It's on.
It's a setup, man.
Be bad about that.
He said it's a setup.
It's not a
Setup.
It
She
is
knows
not a
nothing
setup.
about the football game.
Our lives can't stop with these kids and everything else because we want to watch
Speak,
it or because something else is going on. So it doesn't matter what's going on.
Hey, we
got the moms got to keep it moving. We might want to watch Young and the Restless, but we can't do
That's
that.
right. That's right.
Right.
Why
I don't
do
even
kids
know,
walk
but
past?
y'all
Why
see
do
what I'm
kids
saying?
walk past the dads and walk right to the mom?
Right.
Mommy.
Exactly.
What? Your dad was right there. Why didn't you?
Right in the kitchen.
Because
Right
it ain't
in the
gonna go
kitchen. But you
nowhere
came
with
all
me.
the way
It's not going
upstairs
nowhere
to ask me for some juice. And that is in the
And
kitchen.
so then this is what I do. I say,
okay. So there are roles. No, I'm just playing. I'm not gonna do that.
That's not even on the men.
I'm
That's
not
on the
gonna do
kids.
that.
That's
Not
on the
gonna do
kids.
that.
That's on the kids. I'll let the kids have that.
We're gonna let the kids.
Yeah, I'll let them take that.
Hey, Gilda, what about you?
Yeah.
Well, for one, my husband is a part of a big family who are not just loving, but they're very loving. Like if it was up to my husband, we probably wouldn't have anything in our household because we would give it all away. So he is a giver. Like when I say give, he gives of our time.
Ah, yes.
Like in anything in our house. Like for example, we had a drive-through for our son. He gave all of our food away, but that's okay. We still ate. But I'm saying we always have to give to everyone. So if you come to our house and if you're hungry, don't worry because we will feed you. Because we give so much away. Like, but it's, I mean, it's
You gave away the boy birthday cake too, Chris?
We don't need this.
The Bible says that.
A cheerful giver.
Because no, really, the Bible says it's better to give than receive, and I'm a giver by heart.
It's terrible.
But we have been blessed 20-fold. Like honestly, every time we give something, it returns to us 20-fold. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. Like my wife would be like, babe, like I'll cut the grass at the church. I used to cut the grass at the church. It was like almost 2 acres of grass with a push lawnmower. And I remember I was unemployed and I did it with my own car, my own gas. And my wife was like, I'll be out there all day, 8 hours, like it was a job. And I remember I came home and my hands were still vibrating like I was pushing the lawnmower. And I had black all on my hands. But the crazy thing about it was that honestly, I feel God sees the heart. And she married this man because I was a giver even when she married me. And I don't think giving is a bad thing unless you're hurting your family. Now, if I'm giving the absolute last, like the woman that gave that last piece of, the cornmeal and she gave the bottom of the barrel, that's a whole lesson within itself to complete strangers. But what I do is I truly believe that I teach my kids how to give and how to help others. Like one time, and I'm gonna be off of it, but one time
it was my turn, but you
just real quick, I'm sorry.
You know he can't help.
You know the preacher can't help.
I'm preaching. I still want
Can't help it.
I'm gonna pass. It's gonna have my Cash App sign, and then we're gonna make sure. It's time for this. Hey, Clarence said multiple streams of income, so I'm just trying to pay. But no, one time.
A little love offering.
Hey, it's coming. Whatever. We have a $20 line, a $50 line, But one time, my son Cameron was in Washington D.C. and we were at a hotel. And before we left, he ran back into the lobby. He said, "Dad, I gotta grab something." I said, "What you gonna grab, Cameron?" He grabbed like 4 or 5 apples. He put them inside of his shirt, and because Washington D.C. is very impoverished. He was walking down as we were going towards the monuments and was giving people apples. To me, I appreciate the lessons that I give, but go ahead, continue. It is your time. I'm sorry. But see, I got their heart. So go ahead. You go ahead and talk now. I'll be giving.
No, I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just when he includes us when we have to volunteer and do some things and we just don't want to. You know what I'm saying? Like, you had to
I feel you.
It's like, why you have to sign us up type thing. So yeah, that's my thing. And then sign us up for multiple things. I'm like, maybe I didn't want to do that. But hey, I appreciate it. So yeah, so if you guys ever need anything, come to the Mitchell house. We'll
Thanks. We'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, thank you, Rob.
All right, Tashima, what's your pet peeve with Benny?
I think
you need some paper or something?
Eat the cake.
Benny is so strong-minded about everything. He is right about it all, and it is the end all to everything.
Even when I'm wrong, I'm right.
Yes.
That's right.
It doesn't even matter. It could be Jesus said such and such, and he's gonna be like, "Well, hold on, Jesus, let me just say this real fast," because that's the biggest thing for me is I'm like, no, can you just see this part? I mean, I see what you're saying, but it's not the right thing. What I'm saying, you're just like, it doesn't even make any sense. Like, you're not right though. Yeah, I am. Like, maybe it's red. It's really maroon. So, I mean, it's like, you know, he's just, that's it. That is like the one of the, and maybe I'm with you on the snoring thing. I
can't
even
control
know.
what I do when I sleep.
I can tell you, I done lost days and months of sleep in the last 24 years. I don't even know, like.
I can't even count.
I don't even know how he sleeps with himself.
Me either.
Sometimes
He sleep for real.
For real. Have you ever just laid there mad, Tavia? I have laid
Super
there
mad. I wake him up. If I'm up, we both gonna be up.
That's good sleep, man. When you snore, that's good sleep.
Yeah, it is good sleep.
That's to present that to sleep with that he should be wearing at night.
It's hot.
I bet it is.
9.
Tell us how you really feel.
You're right.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's it.
No.
Oh yeah.
All right. Shabri, what's your pet peeves with Clarence? Good.
So I am claustrophobic. I do not like to be in small spaces or crowded. This one over here does it on purpose because he knows it irritates me. So he'll inch closer and like he'll rub my arm or he'll put his arm around me and then he'll hold my arm like locked in place where I can't move. So I'm hyperventilating and he thinks it's funny because I'm claustrophobic. So yeah, that is the biggest pet peeve, and he does it constantly.
I just be trying to show you some love.
No,
man.
that's not.
Right.
You say show some love, and I try, and it ain't good enough.
Hey, don't get in trouble, Clarence.
Hey, I mean, I'm being straight, you know.
Right, that's funny. All right, did we get?
No, yeah, Tika.
Yeah, Tika. What's your pet peeve?
I can't. I want to hear this.
Yes.
I got a few. So my one major pet peeve is Rob is non-responsive. Meaning, like, when you're talking to him, and you know how, like, women give all the details, like, this, that, and the other, and, you know, like, hey, I need you to do whatever. He's still on his phone. He's still typing. No expression. No, no, nothing. Like, it's like he hasn't even heard anything that you had to say. And so I'm like, did you just hear me? And then he's still ignoring me. And then I'm like, what did I say? Did you even hear what I said? Repeat back to me what I said. And he'll know what I said, but he for some reason does not respond. Like, that is my biggest pet peeve. Especially when I'm like, okay, so can you go pick up Jordan from such at 5, and then we need to do this. Like, I'm a list and schedule person, and he literally like says nothing. Nothing. Crickets. So that is my pet peeve, because I'm like, you can at least acknowledge, or if I'm upset about something, I'm giving you a story. Give me a head nod. Give me a give me like I feel you.
It's information overload. You know, it's
just straight face, doing whatever he's doing.
That's the reason. No, seriously, that is like it's too much information coming in. I gotta process.
No, he's ignoring you, unresponsive.
And I got a lot of stuff to do. I
I hear you, Yatik. I can hear you.
Good.
Unresponsive. So that's one.
No, I do that. I got
That's one.
That's
one.
Number 2 is I do not like toothpaste in the sink, and I don't understand why it is so hard to wipe.
I don't like it either. Me too. I cannot stand that.
I don't understand that. Like, I mean, I guess it's not that major. But why is the toothpaste in the sink?
Like the tube is in the sink?
No, like
everywhere.
Like
it's like drops of toothpaste.
Like drops of toothpaste, not like the not
too much
toothpaste that's pushed in your mouth, but like the extra excess toothpaste that either fell off the side of your toothbrush, like it's whole toothpaste.
You know what?
Ready to go. Like I took a tooth and I put on my toothpaste.
That's information overload.
That's information overload.
Wait, time out. I don't think that we're going to get asked back. Come on now. Let's get this together.
You know why? You know why it's in the sink? You know why it's in the sink? Let me tell y'all. Let me tell y'all why it's in the sink.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy.
It's in the sink because I'm gonna talk about my pet peeve.
Oh,
Go.
what?
No.
He's got
It's
one
in
more.
the sink because
It's called Pine you know, you wash it out.
I get it every now and then. But it's a lot of times I'll be rushing, I'm moving, I'm out the door. But the biggest thing is I get her back sometimes. I'm gonna just be honest.
And give me back.
Oh.
That ain't right.
Because the listen,
take the
I'm
toothpaste
gonna push the toothpaste from the end of the tube person, and she gets the toothpaste
I'll push from
and
wherever.
just squeeze it.
I push from wherever. I don't understand why
Oh
that's
my
such a big deal.
God!
I push from wherever too. But yeah, he
So
like
sometimes
push from the end
that's
up,
why I do.
and then he like rolls the tube like as you are using it. So like
I'm trying to get all my
taking the air out.
toothpaste. I'm trying to get all.
So
the
like
toothpaste.
when we're to the end of the tube, it's like rolled all the way up to like the tube.
You want me to get you one of those things that you can like push up?
Yeah,
and
He
put the
need
clip
one
on
of
it.
those. He need one of those. He need
I
one of
know
those.
what you're stocking.
That's why you need double sink. Double. You
Yeah.
have your
That's a
own.
good solution.
We don't have one of those right now, but so that's the other thing. And then the third thing, and then I'm done.
Oh my God!
This is the last one. That's all I'm gonna say. Rob
You got
thinks
20
he
more
do
minutes.
everything within a certain amount of time. So like we're like, oh, we gotta get out the house to get to church, or we gotta get out the house to get to a meeting. He be like, let me just throw this one load of laundry in the washing machine real quick. Let me just vacuum on the floor real fast. Like I just load the dishwasher real fast. And so like with me, it's spazzing me out because I'm like, we need to be getting in the process for us to get in the car with Sarai, Jordan, Noah. Like we need to be like not doing anything real quick. We need to be team Langford. Let's get all these kids in the car. Let's get it. Let's get up. But he is literally one more thing. So I be calling him one more thing. I'm like, one more thing. Come on, let's go, bud. Because literally he will find one more thing. Like I can just hang this coat up real quick because when I come back, I don't want this coat to be on the back of the chair. And I get it. But sometimes we don't have time for one more thing.
Hey, I got some advice for you. Lotto, you got to be there 15 minutes earlier.
Yep.
Oh, I do, don't I?
She didn't got me.
And we'll show up places and he be like, where everybody else at? Like I thought it started at 4 o'clock. I'm like, oh, it started at 4:30.
Got me a lot of time. Like that.
But he didn't got hip to it because before I used to be spastic, like, come on, let's go. Now I be calm, like, okay, you know, let's just get in the car nice and calm. So he can feel me out now. But that one more thing, I mean, literally, he be like, it don't take that long. And I appreciate you wanting to do laundry, wash the dishes, help out. I appreciate that. However, when it's time to go, we don't have time for one more thing.
That's right.
Rob, we have a spare bedroom for you. You can share the sink with Christopher and Cameron.
Right.
That's right, because remember, they give everything. They're going to give the bedroom too.
Right. Where's the moment with them?
Wait, can we give our pet peeve now?
No.
Yeah, we give.
No.
The man got a different question.
Can we give ours? We gonna give ours? No, we don't.
Give the man a different question.
We don't need to do that.
Yeah, let's go ahead, Jamie.
We'll be here all
Give us
night.
a good question.
All night, dang.
Oh boy. Okay, so
he might be at your house.
Is this about anything?
Yeah.
This is about anything?
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess a really good question that I think.
Ask me first.
Oh, ask you first.
Ask me first.
Okay, so how do you, or I'm trying to think of how to word this without coming off.
Just come on with it.
Okay, so how do you try to stop outside influences from affecting your relationship? It could be family, it could be friends that maybe I don't dig or whatever, but it creates tension within your marriage, or it, you know what I'm saying? Like what is the mental process of you men to determine, do I allow this to affect my family unit? Do I not? Do I address this? Do I not? You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay.
Because we've had plenty of this.
Yeah, we had
right?
a lot of this in our since we've been together.
So I'm just curious.
No matter what, our household comes first, and other people have to respect it. You know, we dealt with over the years. You know, a lot of family. You know, a lot of friends, close friends. You know, no negativity should come within us. You know, and I'm a firm believer in that. I don't want nothing to ever interfere with what we have going on, especially something that's going on the outside, you know. And if there's a situation to where, you know, I'm trying to mend the bridge, the first person I'm going to come talk to is the wife, my wife, Taylor. I'm going to come and talk to her first, and we're going to figure out a way how we can navigate this. I'm not going to, like, you know what, be back cool with this person that maybe talk crap about us, and then I just basically bring her to my house and take it right there. You know what I'm saying? And that's happened in the past because, like I said, there's no manual to relationship. At the beginning, I had no idea on how to navigate that. All I knew was get back cool with that person, even if they're not cool with Tavia. But as I learned and as I grew and as I got wiser and older, I had to include her in the equation. So being that said, in no negativity within our household. So that's how I always dealt with it.
I like it. What about you guys? Who wants to go?
Well, I go.
Yeah.
This is serious and it's real. Like, I struggle with that a lot, and I'm more of, I don't know how to really put it, because I try to navigate a lot of emotions when it comes to friendship attacks, family attacks that can bring energy, because I know my wife better than most people would know her. And so since I know how she take a hit from someone, I usually try to carry most of the weight. But there are times when I may have went against the grain, you know, and just try to sweep it underneath the rug. And then that situation, that issue is still there. And then every time pressure is applied, boom, pipe bust. And I'm like, I thought we fixed it, but we really didn't. And then I have to hear an earlobe from my wife. So like right now in my life personally, I'm in a different place, y'all. Like, if you don't like me and my wife, or if you're negative, I personally can't handle it. I have to literally cut you loose, block you on my phone, block you on my social media. We don't have anything to talk about because I know me personally and I know what I struggle with. And so with the energy, I have to really be careful with what I entertain. So, yeah.
I like that. I like that.
Definitely.
One of the things
Yeah, go for it.
What about you, Benny?
One of the things I will say is you have to be careful who you surround yourself around, right? And you don't want negative people, negative influences. Myself and Tashima, we don't really talk to other people about our issues. And if we do, we really, really have to trust you. Like myself, I'm pretty closed off. And once you lose my trust, it's almost not forever. But at the end of the day, I still have to come back to her, right? And if I choose, I call it pillow talking, and start talking to different people, how they're mad at her or they're gossiping about her, it's not going to be a good deal if it comes back to her. So you really have to be, who you're going to surround yourself around. You want to surround yourself around positive people, because negative people will bring you down like crabs in a barrel, right? And it's not going to be healthy for a relationship ever. And then also, if you do talk to somebody, you better make sure you really trust them. And family, friends will do you wrong.
Yes, they will.
And you gotta set boundaries with people too.
Yeah.
You gotta tell people, like, look, this is where, kind of to what Clarence was talking about. Like, look, if you're not gonna respect me or my wife, then we're gonna have a problem, even if it's your mama.
Yes, sir.
I mean, right though.
Yes.
That's real
You're right.
talk. So
Yeah.
if you're not gonna respect our relationship, either we're gonna move the conversation to something we can talk about, or we gonna just stop talking, and we're not gonna deal with each other because that's just out of line. We're not even gonna have a conversation at all. I can't fool with you. So those are the boundaries. Once we've established the boundaries and then you continue to cross them, then I'll see you later. I don't have any power for you. I love you, but I love you from a distance.
Definitely. Chris, what about you?
Oh yeah, man. I'm gonna be honest with you all. I, as recently as about a month and a half ago, I unfortunately brought my mom into a conversation that she shouldn't have been a part of. And when I tell you that I was kicking myself, and it was like, okay, at least I ain't talking to an outside source, but it was my mom, and it still wasn't right. Because at the end of the day, your mom is going to take your defense more so than the in-law and vice versa. And so after 21 years of being with my wife, girlfriend in the beginning, fiance, then wife, 17 years, I knew it was wrong. I knew it was wrong. And I didn't do it despite her. I was hoping that my mother wasn't going to bring it up, but she still brought it up. And I said, oh, lesson learned from me. And it wasn't something that was to be secretive to my mother, but it was something that I was trying to alleviate the stress from my wife. And so I included my mom in something. It's almost like you go get a brand new job and you tell you try to call your wife and you want to tell somebody, you want to tell your wife first, but your wife will answer the phone after the fourth call. The message I have for you, you better keep on waiting until you talk to your wife first, because even that can become offensive. Even the win can be offensive. It can be a loss, because if you go to the wrong person before you go to anybody before your wife, that becomes problematic as well. And so what I've learned to do is, and I've done it before, I even counsel a lot of people. We did Christian counseling for couples that for years. And I preached on it. And so I always say when I preach, the preacher, when he preaches 99.9% of the time, he's preaching to himself. And so preaching to myself on some things that I was telling other people to do. And then I turn around and do just what I said don't do. Don't bring anybody in the conversation. Mama or whoever, don't bring them in the conversation. Because when it gets bad, if it ever gets great again between you and her, mama will always remember when it was bad. And they bring that back up. It's like, whoa, we in a good place now. And it's like, but you brought me into it. And so I'm learning. I've already learned not to do it, but sometimes the best teacher is life itself. And there's nothing worse than trying to relearn a lesson all over again.
Right. So true.
And
So true. What other questions? Anyone else have one?
Anybody got any other relationship questions we want to ask?
Well, I would say, okay, this is a question for the ladies, right? So how do I put it? So it's about, is it hard to submit to your partner if you didn't see it growing up in the household? And now that you're married now, you know what I'm saying? And I see it a lot in relationships. Submitting and trusting your husband to lead sometimes become a problem. Or just submitting to some of the things that your husband may want or desire or want or need. You can't do it because you never seen mom do it. Or whoever was the person in your life. How do you adjust as a wife?
Good question.
Oh, you want me to answer?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So my family is literally a lot of strong women. My grandmother literally raised everybody. My mom, my aunts, my cousins, they're all strong women and they've done things on their own. So I didn't have the traditional mom-dad household where I saw my mom doing this, my dad doing this. My mom did everything. So of course I followed suit. So when we got married, it became, and it's still a struggle now. I'm bullheaded at times. So I'm about to go get this. And he like, no, you're not. And I'm like, yeah, I am. And he like, no, you're not. And I'm like, well, when you gonna go do it? Because it needs to be done now. It's a struggle. It is a struggle. It's a struggle. It's hard to kind of suppress that that grind mentality when that's all you know and that's all you see. It's hard to say, okay, we're going to grind together and I don't have to turn the wheel by myself. I can actually have you hold the bowl and then I turn the wheel. I ain't got to do all of it at once. So it becomes, it's a journey. It definitely is. It's not easy and you got to work on it every day. Every day.
Right. I agree.
Yes, I'll say something. For me, my parents were married for I think 17 years. So I seen it, but then I seen my parents not together. So for me, it was kind of a broken up household where I had to help my mom as I turned 16, had to get a job and get a car, which I purchased my own car. and got myself through college. But I think what really helped me out, which was a blessing, is my husband's parents been married longer and they were still together. So they kind of showed me how to be a wife and him to be a husband. So I think sometimes when you're in a broken up family, you have to lean on friends or family members or other people who show love. And one thing I love about it is his parents showed that first you got to put God first, and then you guys come together as a couple. So for me, even though I was in a broken relationship, when it came to my parents, they got a divorce on my birthday one year, I think it was. Yes, it was finalized on my birthday one year. And then it was my senior year of high school. So it was just a really crazy situation. But that didn't stop me from being who I was. And one thing about my husband is when we got married, it's 100, 100. It's not 50, 50, 20, 80. No, it's 100. So with us, we just said it in the beginning before we got married, like we're both responsible. It's not just I do all the cooking and he do all the cleaning. Like, no, we clean together. Like it's just a couple thing, it's a together thing. And when we got married, we became one. So for us, like, yeah, my mom was independent, but one thing I love about my husband is he takes over that for me. Like he's like, you have to understand that you don't have to do that. I'm the husband, I'm the provider, I can help you. And for me, at first it was a little struggle, but after seeing his parents, I have to say they were a very good example of a couple in a marriage. So for me, you just got to put God first. You got to trust your husband. I had to learn that too. He got it under control. I trust my husband. He takes me everywhere where I want to go. He drives me wherever I want to go. He does whatever I need. He's there. He might not do it on my time, which I'm learning. But I know I can say I have a very strong husband, and it takes both of us. We're both responsible. So for me, even though I came up from a broken home, I don't want to be broken. I'm just because I came from that, I don't have to be that. Yeah. And we are strong women, but we have to let our husbands know that we need them. They want to be needed, you know? So I'm learning that being married to him for almost 17 years, like he wants to be needed. He's a provider. He is the man of our household. And so we do need him. And I have 2 boys, so I can't raise them by myself. That's just not even possible. Like I need him to be that father figure in our lives. So that's just a little bit about us and about me. But me personally, I'm not going to be my past. I am who I am, and I'm moving forward. And I'm here to help other people. And like he said, we did couples counseling, and people are like, your guys' marriage is this, that, and the other. Yeah, it gets rocky, but at the same note, we're very strong. We're a team. And I'm not letting any family members, no family, no friends break us in who we are. And yeah, I sometimes think I got it going on and I'm independent, but sometimes I have to be tamed. We sometimes as wives have to be tamed a little bit and know that we do have a spouse that is here to help us out. So that's just my 2 cents on the whole
can I
subject.
I want to speak on it and I want to get off, I promise. Sometimes our past dysfunctionality, when we come from dysfunction, sometimes everybody on this card, if you came from dysfunctionality, sometimes you can allow your dysfunctionality come into your current relationship with your spouse. And so if you came from a broken up home, sometimes it's all you know. If you come from a home that, if you were around dysfunctionality all the time, you might feel that's a sense of normalcy, but it's not really normal. And so when you're with a person that came from a different background, you have to adjust. I always say you can't change your past. You talk about your future, but you live in your present. And so when we live in our present, we have to evolve and adjust, even throwing some of the things in our past behind us. And so when my wife says, all I know is divorce, I said, but I don't know that. And so can I teach you how we're gonna be here forever together, you know? And so sometimes because you came from dysfunctionality, you're like, hey, well, this is all I know. And I'm like, that ain't what I know. And let me show you what I know. And so I think a good power couple can do away with some of the negativity that other person was probably brought up with. And so if you ever seen your mom, your dad slap your mom, like, hey, whoa, I don't know that. I know that's what you saw, but I don't know that. So let me help you with that. What you gonna do? Slap me too? Like, no, I don't even know how to slap. I'm not gonna do that. So seriously, you have to really explain that when people come and they bring that baggage with them of the dysfunctionality or whatnot, you can, if you don't be careful, you can allow it to control your current relationship with you.
Right. So I want to jump in on this question because my issue was a lot different because my parents were together and I was a daddy's girl. So it was hard for me to submit because I couldn't let go of my dad. And like for those that know, like I absolutely love and adore my dad. And so it was hard for me to submit on that side, not because I had all these strong women and I, didn't have my dad, but because my dad was always there for me. He was always there for my mom. I mean, like he was always there for my family. I was like, I'm not about to let this man, I mean, he wasn't really a stranger, but he wasn't my dad. And so when I had issues, I would call my dad. When I thought we needed something fixed, I would call my dad. And so for us, that was the hard part for me, or for me, it was the hard part for submission. I'm sure Rob felt some type of way.
What I end up telling you?
Go be with your dad. He did.
Rob, man.
And look, he was for real serious.
That's real
talk. Cause I'm like, I'm just gonna call my daddy. I'm just gonna call my daddy. Like I was one of them girls. Like, oh, okay, you don't want to do it now. I'm gonna call my daddy. Oh, you ain't gonna pump the gas. I'm gonna call my daddy. So I literally was, I'm gonna call my daddy girl. So he did hit me with it. Well, maybe you need to go be with your daddy then. So that part was hard for me because my dad always managed our household, managed our finances. I mean, even to this day, like he pumps the gas on my mom's car. Like every day he backs my mom's car in the garage. So she only has to pull out. I mean, like, and so I was used to that. So I'm like, why is my car on E? Like, what's going on with this? So I mean, and so because of that, it was hard for me to submit because I had to be able to let go of my dad and start trusting Rob and getting to know what kind of like what Chris was saying, getting to know where he came from, what his background was, because obviously it was different than mine. So my expectation for him to be my dad, but he's not my dad, he's my husband.
Right.
That's so true.
That was really hard for me as far as submitting because I didn't want to submit on anything. I mean, I was very, very bullheaded, very strong, opinionated. And if it didn't, I need to get my dad's approval before I'm gonna join my bank account with your bank account. I mean, for real, that's real talk. Like, I mean, not my dad's approval, like he was gonna say yes or no, but I had to run it past him. Like, well, Daddy, do you think this is a good idea? Like, do you think that we should be on this? Like, we looking at this. What do you think about it? And so that part was the hard part when you talk about submission. It wasn't because I'm a woman, not get it done myself. It was I was calling my dad.
Yeah, and I think the big part of that too. I came from a household where my mom was the breadwinner. She did a lot of the things. Now my dad was around, but my dad he graduated from high school and that was it. He did his own businesses and he worked in retail for a while. So my mom was, she got her bachelor's degree later in life and worked for the government for a long time. So she was, the person that did most of that stuff. So that's what I saw. So as Chris was talking about, that's where I came from. But the other part of it too, I'm gonna make 2 points and I'm gonna leave it alone. The other part of it too is we a lot of times don't understand the power of the I won't even say black family, just the power of family and having two people together, showing an example to our kids of how to run a household, how to work together, because everything is not going to be perfect, right? But there were things put in place to destroy that. And, I won't go into the history of all that, but there were things put in place to destroy that because people know and understand that how powerful that is and how you set your kids up for the future. But the other thing was what happened was Yatika was looking at her dad as right then, but it took him 50 some years to get to where he was, treating her like that. And I wasn't there yet, you know what I'm saying? So as we were growing and learning together, I'm 43 now. I'm a totally different man than back then. But she wanted me to be that man, that 50-some-year-old man at 23. You know what I mean? So that's a thing that, you know, happens sometimes, and we do it too. Men do it too. So we have to understand that it takes time for people to get that maturity and that understanding of life, you know, and don't put that on somebody else to be who you idolize, because it took them time to get there too.
Definitely.
So true. You know, I would say, so kind of stemming off that a little bit. So I guess we would say that we both came from broken homes. Maybe yours a little less, I don't know. So my mom was a single mom. She left my dad when I was 1. I honestly, to this day, don't remember even what he looks like. I've seen a picture, just an abusive man, from what I understand. So I know that it took a lot for her to leave with 2 young children. So growing up, I had seen my mom be mom, dad, you know, electrical person, fix this, fix that. And when you see that, especially I think as a young girl, I realized like, well, I don't need anybody else to do all of that for me. I'm going to do it myself. So I am very strong-minded, I think, just innately from seeing that and kind of growing up with that. But I think when we got together, I honestly do think that there were underlying issues that I had of like, well, you're a guy. Every guy is eventually going to leave. Like, you're going to do something dumb or something's going to happen in our relationship and we're going to break up. And I would honestly, I think, not intentionally like cause fights, but it was like this weird thing where I wasn't going to allow him to get super close because I didn't want to have to deal with the breakup or what it felt like to kind of go through that and be a single parent, because that's just what I saw or what I knew. And so I had a lot of growing up to do because we were together really young. I was 18 and I was like, you know, oh, I'm fine. I don't need you, you know? So that was really difficult for me. And trust was a huge thing for me. My brother he was older. He's a few years older. And he went to, so my dad was not in the picture. My mom never really dated my entire like growing up. So I never really ever had a man in a household. And then my brother, he gets to high school, he graduates, goes to college, never comes back. So in my mind, I'm thinking, well, every guy that comes into my life that actually is supposed to care for me is leaving. So what makes you so different? And I think that was the struggle that I had. I know personally, being with you and realizing like, okay, maybe he's not leaving. Like, what is this, you know? And so I think that was probably more difficult maybe on your end. I don't know, but that was my perspective.
It was very difficult because she needed a lot of reassurance in the beginning. You know, she needed to, you know, me tell her that I love her, let her know that I wanted to be there for her. You know what I'm saying? And me being, I was, like I said, I'm 22, 23. I'm like, I really got to tell you that all the time? Like, really, man? You know what I'm saying? But I'm young, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know no better, you know, but, you know, it was just letting her know that I'm there, you know? And I think that's why the Lord blessed us with 3 boys. So that way she has men that's going to be with her for the rest of her life. So, you know, that's what we say. I say that all the time.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Great question, Clarence.
What about you? What about you, Tashima?
For me, I knew early on how good of a man he was, just the person that he was. You know, he actually grew up with both his parents. And for me, I didn't have my biological dad, but my mom married my stepdad when I was 9. So I can relate to Yatika because I'm a daddy's girl too. I am such a daddy's girl, and I married my father. I did. And, you know, because of that. But I actually had a very strong, my grandfather was very influential in my life. He was like my dad. He stepped in. And so I grew up knowing how it was to be submissive, but I still didn't want to be. I still didn't want to be submissive because I knew what my mom went through. So in that sense, I was like, you're not gonna tell me what to do, you know? And my thing was, you ain't my daddy. You ain't my daddy. So you're not gonna tell me what to do. And that is how it was. I was like, I don't care, dude. And I was like that too. I'm gonna call my dad then, and you know.
I better call him.
And
that's my man. That's my man right there.
Learn to be submissive. And when I realized this man is here to love you, he is here to take care of you. He is this for long haul. It's okay for you to let your guard down and let him step in and be the man. Then, you know, now it's easy. It's like, okay, daddy. You know, that's what it is. But in the beginning, it was very hard for me. But as I grow, I do want my girls to see that, you know, this is the way a man is supposed to treat you. This is how you don't expect anything less. You know, the way you see your dad treat me, this is how you need to make sure that this man is treating you better than this. You know, because if he's not, then I'm gonna have something to say about it. So is he. So, you know.
So one of the things I will say is I don't expect her to be submissive and all that, and I don't demand this of her, and I don't demand that of her. Nothing's gonna stop my hustling. I'm gonna keep hustling hard. It's just I'm a go-getter, and I think she sees that and just follows right behind. And she knows, hey, it's hustle strong, and he's not trying to dominate me, but I'm still gonna follow. You know, it's not my mission in life to dominate her. I try and treat her as an equal myself.
Yeah, like that.
Powerful, powerful.
That's good.
It is
That was
very
good.
good. Very
Great
good.
question, man.
Definitely, that was a good question. All right, well, we getting close to the hour
Yeah.
on this show. Let's do some last remarks. You go ahead and start it up, Clarence and Shabri.
Well, I guess I would say in relationships, right? When it comes to growth, where I am right now personally is, for one, I have to make sure that God is the center. And then I have to do my homework, which means there are so many different tests and things that you can get your hands on that can show you your blind spots, show you where, you know, what you are naturally and what you are when you're adapting and things to that nature. So I would say just keep God first, because if you put God first and you surround yourself with people that want to see you win, you can't fail.
I guess I would say that me and Clarence being married for 7 years, you can't expect the person that you married to be the person that I married 7 years ago is not the person that I'm sitting next to right now. There has been growth on both of our ends. We have maintained some of the, I guess, childhoodness of where we were when we got married, but we've become adults in a lot of areas. So you got to realize that even though you're married to that person, you're still learning. You still have to adapt to certain situations. You're never going to fully know the person you're married to unless you commit to learning that person every day, because every day we wake up, it's a choice. Every day we go out and do our day-to-day, it's a choice. So me being married to him is a choice. And you have to realize that you have to make the choice every day to learn your spouse, to love your spouse, and to be what you have to be for your spouse and yourself.
Definitely. All right. What about you and Rob and Utica?
You should go first.
Of course. Second, I just want to leave everyone with everything is not always rainbows and cupcakes and unicorns and happy. I mean, and yes, I love Rob. I mean, this is my ride or die. In it. But just because you see that on the outside, you don't know the cost that we paid to get to where we were. Where we are now. So like it costs a lot to be here. I mean, like some of the pain, some of the trials, the goods, the bads, the uglies, the ups and downs. So I mean, I just want to say, like, people are like, oh, we were so happy. I wish, you know, I was just like you guys. It took work to get here. And I always tell people that it takes work. Like marriage is not just all like, oh, I love him so much. Oh, I love her so much. But it's hard work. It's compromise. It's, you know, growth. It's just understanding one another. It's being able to accept one another, to love unconditionally, to pray together, to fast together, you know, to just stand in the gap. So I leave that out there, that it's not just all like, oh, we're going on vacation in Jamaica. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. Or oh, we're taking these cute family pictures, because it's a struggle in between there. I mean, it's times where, you know, we don't get along. And I still love him just the same. When he's ignoring me and I'm trying to tell him something and he's unresponsive, like I ain't said nothing. But I still love him, and I still want to be here with him. So I just want to leave everybody with those final thoughts that any relationship takes work. So if you just think it's just gonna always be perfect, and you think that that you're never part of it, that it's always on them, then you need to really reevaluate this, because it's two people always growing, loving, whatever. So those are my last words.
That's good. That's good. And I want to piggyback on Shabri. I love what you just said too, because definitely it's about growing together. I mean, getting to understand one another over time. Like I told you all earlier, we basically got married when we were kids. Some of us on here did the same. So you have to understand, you get married as a kid, you haven't experienced a lot of things in life. So if you're not experiencing those things on your own to grow as a person, now you've added another person in your life, but you're still learning. You're still learning who you are, and then you're adding another person into the mix. So that's hard to navigate a lot of times. So have that flexibility to grow together, and learn how to give that room for that person to grow, because they're still a person. She's still her own person. She's not I mean, she has my last name, but she's still her own person. And I'm still my own person. But I think learning how to grow together and build together, that's the power in what you're doing, because now you're leaving a legacy. You're leaving a legacy for those little ones that come behind you. And even for those that are thinking of getting together, count the cost. Count the cost. As she just said, it ain't all peaches and cream. A lot of people wants the pot at the end of the rainbow, but they don't want the rain that created the rainbow and all the other stuff that went with it. So you got to make sure that you understand that there are going to be trials, tribulations, but it's all to help you grow and become stronger. Again, on the other end, it's that reward. So.
Yeah. Definitely. All right, Crawford, give us your last remarks.
I say that you have to learn to love yourself. When you learn to love yourself, it makes it easy to love others too. I'm a firm believer of keeping God in your relationship, and everything else falls in place. You gotta trust each other and be willing to take that long road. And it's not always easy, Sometimes it seems like it's harder than it is easy. So you got to be able to just withstand and make sure you learn to love each other, and never go to bed angry.
That's good.
I don't care how mad I am. I love you.
I roll.
I like that.
One of the things I will say is so many times people argue over the differences just because you didn't come up that way or you didn't this way. And one of the things is me and this woman are polar opposite. If you know her and think of the opposite, you're going to think of me. Right? And you have to really celebrate that she's different. Rob was saying, right? That she's different because with yourself, it's not easy all the time. Right? I couldn't deal with myself 24/7. Right? It's not all peaches and cream. You can fall out of love at the same time. Otherwise, you won't end up together. So the thing I will say is never fall in love at the same time and work as a team, right? Like I said, Team Crawford, this is our unit, and we're not going to let anybody come in the middle.
I love it.
Definitely. All right, Langford, give us your closing remarks. Not Langford, my bad. Sorry about that. Mitchell, give us your closing remarks. Sorry about that.
For me, I know we've been talking about us as a couple and a married couple, so I want to talk to the single ladies, the single men out there. Know that you got to put God first. And with me meeting my husband, it was only by God's design. So if you're out there and you're like, man, I wish I was like these couples, like trust God, just have faith. One thing I can say is I really seriously felt like God made my husband for me, just things that I go through emotionally, spiritually, naturally, being a mother. So I would like to just say to the people out there who are looking for a spouse, looking for a helpmate, trust God, because there is someone out there for you. So don't give up, have hope. And one thing, you have to be very strategic, or just making sure that you're putting God first, because when you're marrying someone, you're marrying them, you're getting their last name, you're sharing finances, you're sharing everything. So it's really important that you just don't marry anybody. Like, you literally like think about who you're going to be with for a lifetime. So I just want to reach out to the ones out there who are like, man, I wish I really would like them. It'll come, it will come, but you just got to trust and believe God, because you want to make sure you're with the person that God wants you to be with. And I didn't mean to take it very spiritual, but it really is a thing, because I mean, my husband knows my social security number. He knows everything about me. So you just want to be very like cautious and understanding, and make sure that you are laying next to the person that God really wants you to be with. So that's my 2 cents. Thank you guys so much for allowing us women to be on here. I feel very honored. So thank you.
Happy to have you.
Hopefully we get asked back.
I don't know.
Right. I just want to know, let people know that there's hope. So if you are looking for that spouse, that woman, that man, they are out there for you. Just keep waiting on them, because you want to be wined and dined. You just don't want anything. So that's just my little 2 cents, and that's about it.
Yeah, listen, the platform, the event, it was just amazing tonight. The conversation was really good, even though it got comical at times, but yet still, I think us being transparent and authentic, that helps people really see that, like when I was telling you some things about me not telling my mom or some things. But what I would say to the couple that want to get to a place of happiness is that I was always taught, if you want quality, you must become quality. Let me say that again. Like, if you want quality, you must become quality. And the reason why some of the young ladies I used to talk to when I used to be preaching at the church, you couldn't find a man, because I asked you, where are you looking for your man at? Well, I was at the club and I was at the bar. Well, that's what you're going to receive. You're going to get that kind of quality. And so if you want quality, you have to become quality. And then you don't lower your standards. And so I always give illustration for application. And so I'm gonna give a quick little small story, and then I'll be done. There was a young man and a young woman that were at the airport, and they missed their flight. And of course, where were they at? Atlanta. They were in Atlanta, and there was a layover, and everybody had a chance to go stay in the hotel. Well, this young lady and young man, it was love at first sight. And they were talking the entire night. They didn't go to, can y'all see me? Okay. They didn't go to the hotel. They stayed the entire night at the airport talking. Well, when they called for their plane, they said, everybody, it's time to board the plane. They said, wow, it's morning already. And so the young man said, man, you should come down to Dallas, Texas with me. And she said, no, you should come up to Chicago to visit me. Miss what I just said. Sometimes we lower our standards. Instead of saying, come down with you, she said, no, come up with me to Chicago, not down to Texas with you. And sometimes we allow our standards to be lower by just peer pressure and how fine he think he is, or how sexy she thinks she might be. Sometimes we let our guard down to try to appease another person, and you might hurt your own your belief system, your values. And so if you really want to find a good person, it shouldn't be that hard to fall in love. You shouldn't have to sit here and fight, and you gotta kill all your values to be with that person. And okay, you don't like this color on me? What about this color? What about lipstick? What about my hair? What my glasses? You like weave? No weave. Wig or no wig? So
wait, say wig and wig.
Hey, listen, the long eyelashes or none. I don't know. What we doing? I don't know. But at the end of the day, if I gotta sit here all day and to try to always give and no take, it's a problem. And so you want to make sure that you don't look for a partner, and God will send them your way. So that's all I have to say.
Amen.
I like it.
I'll
just say real fast. You guys, amazing ending things. I loved every single thing you guys said, but I think anything worth having, it doesn't come easy. And I think that the one thing I've learned over we've been married 8 years, but we've been together longer. I always like to throw that in there. But anyway, it's vulnerability, I think, to another level. One of the most difficult things or important things I've learned is to be completely vulnerable, if with nobody else, with your spouse. And that takes both. It goes both ways, right? It's learning how to be vulnerable with your communication, with, you know, your needs or your wants. And it's okay to have needs and wants in a marriage. If something isn't working, you need to be open and honest and vulnerable enough to say, listen, this isn't working. It's not suiting me. Is there some way that we can, you know, compromise and figure out what each other needs? And I think that having that level that transcends so many different things is so important, I think, for true happiness, at least for us. Obviously, yes, keeping God in the forefront. And that's something I think Brandon and I learned. We didn't get that in our childhood upbringing. I'll be super honest. And it's something we have learned since then, now having children, now trying to figure out, okay, you know, those grandparents you see that come to sporting events, we may be those grandparents 30 years from now, because guess what? We didn't have that, you know? So we're trying to start everything now. And so, but vulnerability really for me is the biggest thing that I would say is to really focus and work on, because it's just, you need it.
You do need it. You gotta be vulnerable. And I think just overall, the whole idea of being totally committed to your family, committed to being a husband, committed to being a better man. It's just a total commitment period. And a lot of people, sometimes they want to get off track. You know, a lot of people think that, you know, it ain't greener on the other side. All right. The grass grows where you water it.
Greener where you water.
There you go. I said it wrong, didn't I? My bad. But yeah, just to know that, you know, you got to be willing to, you know, I give Tavia my all. She gets my all every day. My kids get my all every day. And also learning to sacrifice. You can't do what everybody else does. You know what I mean? You can't do what you see everybody on TV do. You can't do what you see some of your single friends do. You can't do that. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that. Them days are gone. So just being committed and also knowing it's the ultimate sacrifice in order to have a successful marriage. And just like I said, just being there for them, you know, being there for my wife unconditionally, love my kids unconditionally, and just knowing that, you know, we can do this together. And then for my kids to see me and my wife's relationship, so that way they can be like, okay, well, this is something I want to do when I get married, you know. And like Rob said, it's about starting a legacy, and I think it starts with us. So yeah, that's my closing remarks.
Yeah.
And ladies, I truly appreciate y'all being on the show with us. Out of y'all, I know you ladies are so busy. Y'all always busy, it seems like. But we appreciate y'all being on the show tonight. This is a very authentic show. We truly appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, well,
Thanks.
this is the Man Up show, Man Up Series. We appreciate all the viewers, and we'll see y'all next week. Peace.
All right.
See you next week tomorrow.
Bye, Sarai.
Bye, Sarai.
So she had to make an appearance. Oh, girl.